Well, trying to cut down on food waste, Punita Chitwell Varma joins us this morning, and she's got some really easy hacks that are going to save money, but also save us from just throwing away good food.
Yes, and food waste is a big problem. Thank you so much for having me, Annette. I'm happy to come here and share great and simple ways of reducing food waste. Canadians are particularly bad at food waste, and 58% of the food that is grown in Canada is thrown away.
Wow.
Yes, and it's a huge waste, right, of the food,
right,
as well as the resources that have gone into growing that food.
Right. So I love your first tip is to actually shop your pantry and shop your shelves, because I'm really bad at this. It's like I've got all this stuff, and then you still go grocery shopping, forgetting about what you already have.
Pretty much. So that's the first tip. You got it right, that you open your fridge and your pantry, and before you go out grocery shopping, see what you have. Use what you have. So in this case, I made a coconut milk curry with leftover, with coconut milk that I found in the back of my pantry. I have chickpeas and a whole lot of vegetables that were on their last legs. So I've got carrots in there, spinach, and it's all delicious, and it ends up being a wholesome meal, and I didn't really go shopping for
Right.
it.
Okay. Freezing is another thing. I love this idea of freezing limes or lemon slices. That's a great idea.
Yes, and margarita season is all season long, pretty much, right? So freezing is great to talk about in summertime, because the grocery market, the grocery store and the farmers markets are full of beautiful local in-season produce. And so we tend to buy too much. So what I do often is, with strawberries and raspberries in particular, I freeze them in baking sheets and then bag them in these Ziploc bags.
Okay.
And then they take up less space in the freezer, right? With limes, I slice on the baking pan, freeze, and then you can use them in flavored water or margaritas.
Okay. You also have some mint in there, which is great, because we were talking before, because sometimes when you buy herbs, you get so much of it, and maybe for a recipe you only use a little bit. Right?
Yes, and that takes me perfectly into the next step, because storing herbs is a huge challenge for me. I cook a lot of Asian foods, so Thai, Indian, Vietnamese, all need so much mint and coriander and basil. And so a few years ago, I found this herb stand that since then I've seen in all the kitchen stores.
Okay.
And you wash the herbs out, rinse them, and then put them in these 3 compartments, and it stays fresh longer in the fridge.
Okay.
But if you don't have that, there is this hack of a damp paper towel. Simple is good, right? And then a damp paper towel around the roots, and put it in their Ziploc bag, and it stays fresh. And you're not throwing things away at the end of the week, which is a big struggle with me.
Right, right. A lot of us will use like bananas that are overripe, put them in banana bread. But you say to shop the shelves at your grocery store that are kind of like the day olds or the finished kind of things, or almost being tossed out, because you can get some great produce that could go into sauces or breads.
Well, bruised, lumpy tomatoes make great sauce, right? You can make tomato sauce fresh at home with produce that you've picked up that's cheaper in the stores, because a lot of grocery stores and farmers markets even have shelves of ugly, imperfect produce.
Right.
You save money and you're saving the environment.
Right, because if you're making an apple pie, it doesn't matter that it looks perfect.
No, and this banana bread has a little bit of, overripe apples and bananas in it, and it's delicious.
Great. I love your last tip, too, of using every single little bit of a vegetable, right? So you've got asparagus. No, it's not asparagus. It's broccoli.
This one is broccoli. It's so my mom used to make a dry curry with a whole head of cauliflower. So this is a version of that where I use the broccoli florets separately, and then I use the stem of the broccoli, peel it. It's a little woody, so peel it just a little, and then slice and fry in some olive oil.
Okay, so we're going to just show here.
It's crispy. The kids love it as an after-school snack, and it's delicious. And you're diverting food that would normally end up in the landfill.
Okay, you've got lots of great tips as well. So your blog is
Maple and Marigold. So you can find a lot of these tips on Maple and Marigold, which is my blog around real food and real flavors. But I've also started recently an initiative around raising awareness for better food.
Okay.
And that's Nourish by Numbers. So a lot of these food waste tips will be on there.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going home to shop my cabinet. Thank you, Panita, for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me, Annette.